our team head coach, Coach Fadlu Davids. Welcome, Coach. Coach, if you can please just give us a brief summary of the match from your perspective.
I think a very good first half. Perhaps should have been 1-0 up going into the half, but 1-0 down. I think you can't fault the players really to be able to do what they did in Orlando Stadium in this first half. We have a problem at the moment. Talk about Amazulu in the last second of this half. Critical phase, switching off for the set piece. Inexperience is costing us goals, which is costing us points. But you can't fault the players to really come with it was a game where they had to be brave, and brave they were. They really stood out. They kept the ball. They moved into the spaces we wanted to play. They kept the ball well. And that first half was really the performance level that we have to continue with. And if we continue with that performance levels, we'll get much more points in games that we play.
We're now open for questions from the floor. As per norm, please, by a show of hands, identify yourself as well as the media company you represent prior to asking your question.
Hi, Coach. Damien here from Soccer Laduma. Coach, you mentioned that in the first half, you guys really showed up until that last minute where maybe a lapse of concentration. Do you think that your prior knowledge of Pirates really helped you planning for this match, because it seemed like you were matching them pound for pound and you really weren't giving away much opportunities in the first half?
No, I think as coaches you plan for every game. You do your analysis in every game. Pirates is a different team that they were last season. They really have a flexible playing style. That they can be suddenly in a 3 defense line with an overlapping side centre back, or they can be in a 4 defense line, really flexible in how they play. So my knowledge of Pirates was one part, but in every match as a coach you analyze each and every player, each and every strategy of the opposition coach, and you try to create a plan. So my knowledge is one thing, but I think like I said, every match we plan, we analyze, we go in details where we can get small advantages, and it was a small detail that cost us the goal before halftime. You go into a halftime break really with positivity, and that's what I try to keep in my halftime talk, because there was no use crying over the spilled milk, and it was 46 minutes playing really well. So it was trying to keep that positive mindset going into the half, and now not because the crowd then got behind him. The crowd was really apprehensive in that first half, not knowing whether they should cheer them or boo them or lift them, and going into the half we ignited Orlando Stadium, and that made it difficult for us in the second half.
Salam, Coach.
Salam.
CJ here from The Voice. Your coach, it's a tough situation for you. You came in here, I don't know what the discussion was when you joined the team. Now, I think there's like 10 games left. All the teams that you're going to face are all above you. None of them, you can steal any points from them in terms of they're not in the relegation fight that you're in. How far can you think as a coach, and how far can you get the team to think about the situation that you are in at the moment?
No, we have the approach like when we started in November with our first training session. We were bottom of the log with a game more than everybody else, and we approached the situation not looking at that and playing with the pressure. Our team has been playing with that pressure of being bottom of the log for the entire season. So for us, we don't look at the situation, we look at the next game, and the next game is 3 points at stake, and that's how we approach it. Our next game now is Super Sport, and we try to get 3 points in every game, and we will continue with that approach. Every team that we play is like a 6-pointer because the league is so compressed. But we know with 10 matches remaining, we have to keep this consistency level of performance, and then we'll be okay. We'll pick up enough points to be able to save the club.
Okay, Coach, available to say this. Hard luck on the result. I think in the last 4 matches, conceded 6 goals. There's no doubt about on the offensive play. Does it worry you? Failing to keep clean sheets, and also how you concede, especially given the position you're in.
Yeah, we've spoken about it. Most of our goals is in the critical phases, and with a young team, it's lessons. Each and every game, we take the lessons of the previous game. We know clean sheets gives you a possibility to get 3 points, and of course that is what we are working on. But it's a mental thing to keep your concentration for 95, 96 minutes, whatever it takes. That is what we're working on. It's a totally, when I joined the club, it was a mental lessons that the team had to take, because that emotional trauma of being at bottom of the log for 6 months that they were took its toll. So these are lessons now with a young squad, developing the team to learn that in these critical phases it's game management that take preference, and not sometimes that over eagerness and you want to go forward like we did against AmaZulu in the last 95 minutes. We want to go and score in the last second rather than keeping possession of the ball, losing the ball and then conceding. That costs you 2 points. And these are the lessons game by game we'll take, and huge lessons. But our players, after a performance like this, we keep our heads up and we try to maintain this performance level, work on the smaller details, and especially this mental thing of critical phases, and we'll be okay.
Good evening, Coach. Karabo from SuperSport. Unlike the result, Coach, unfortunately, looking at your defensive line, has always spoken about them. Does it concern you that you're actually one of the teams that has conceded the most this season, one of the most conceded games, and how you?
We came into the when I joined November, we were most conceded and least amount of goals scored. So that is not a new stat now. If we take before this game, if we take our last 5 matches, we were second on the log behind Sundowns in 5 matches before this match. So we won a really good way, and we can't take statistics what they had before. We know we are developing the team step by step, and we have to stop conceding goals. That's clear, but we have to score goals as well. I said it last week that our players, the mental state of our players is going into matches. When I joined, was let's go into the match trying not to lose, and we try to change that mindset. Let's go into the match and approach the game to win, and that is the mindset we're trying to create. But critical phases, not conceding in the last seconds of matches is what's costing us, but we'll work on it. We'll learn from it with the young players we have, and we'll grow and we'll pick up points if we correct this key factor.
Coach Lorenzo from Interesting Times. Obviously a return to Orlando for you. In preparing for this game against Pirates, how much input did you have in terms of, your experience with the club, or has there been a dramatic change in the way they set up and play football this season that didn't really factor in your preparations for the game?
No, they are slightly different. They signed 12 players. Most of the time it's 6-7 new players on the pitch that was not here last season. So and they're a new team. Basically, they strengthen in all departments, and they don't have CAF to worry about. We know the league is now the priority as it was last season. So the preparation, the knowledge of the team, the knowledge of the stadium, the knowledge of the fans, and you could see it going into half time. If we had kept it, the tension growing in Orlando Stadium. It's a small factor, but it's the tactical plan, what you prepare, the knowledge I have, you can relay it to the players, but they step onto the pitch, they have to execute, they have to be brave and take on a club like Orlando Pirates, and that's what they did in the first half. So I'm really proud of them. I take only positives out of this game, and we prepare for our next game against SuperSport.
Coach, back on the last. Sia from Kickoff. I just want to two quick ones from me. Coach, a player like Rowan Newman, who did not feature as much, or at least play as much before Ronaldo, we're seeing him a bit more often now, play a bit more, growing in confidence. Just wanted to know what have you made of his progress, and potentially how high can he go? And we saw Bonkosi Magume coming in that defensive midfielder role. Can you take us to step through that technical switch?
Yeah, I don't want to really talk about individual players, and Rowan Newman and Joti in the midfield area. Palace was outstanding throughout the match. He's a young player that has a huge potential, Rowan Newman. Just about keeping him grounded, trying to get him to understand the skills he has, get him to understand tactically the positioning in relation to when we have the ball, when to attack the space, when to pass and move. He has a huge potential, but it's step by step, game by game, to educate him, to help him understand his own strengths and weaknesses, to hide those weaknesses by being in certain positions, by defending in a certain way. So step by step he will grow. He has a huge potential, but he should remain grounded, take it game by game and learn, absorb as much information as he can, and he will grow. I have no doubt that he can reach heights on the highest level. He can play on the highest level. Makume is a player with so much skills. And if you go into his history, he's played striker, he's played midfield, he's played right, he's played left, growing up in Soweto, and he made his professional debut as a centre back. But as you've seen in previous games, playing on the right side, coming inside, really flexible, understanding spacing when we have the ball, is his strength. Although everybody knows him as a defender, but his strength is when he has the ball. You know, he's unpredictable in his movement, in seeing space, in attacking spaces, and in his spacing in relation to when we are building up. He knows which positions to take with a good body position and unpredictable movements in the midfield area. He changed the game when he came on into this midfield area, then allowed us to change the structure, and also he could, as flexible as he is, he can step into the defense line, he can step into the midfield line. So he's a player with different skills, and we are still getting to understand how we can utilize those skills in the best way. He's been an important player for us. He had a bit of an injury, came back, but he'll be a big part of our the rest of the season for us.
We'll take the final 3 questions. Starting with you.
Coach, Lakonjalos, Coach. Coach, you've been an assistant coach for most of your career, and having a privilege of sitting with so many coaches in the bench, how has it propelled you and helped you to develop yourself as a head coach, and your confidence in helping your beloved Maritzburg United save itself on that occasion? Thank you.
Yeah. I think as a coach, in whichever role you are, you learn. Even now, as a head coach, you're still learning, you're still educating yourself, and that doesn't stop. So in every football professional that you engage with, there is something that you can take, that you can learn from, and I have that approach in whichever role I am.
Coach Kamkhalu Khale here from VOFM. Coach, we've seen that with our league, when you win like 2-3 games, you go up. When you lose, you go down. And when you came in at Maritzburg, you won 3 games in a row, which sort of like helped, move from the bottom. But looking where you are right now, is it much of a concern with you that the longer you stay there, the harder it is to go up? Because it's the second half of the season, and we know that teams, they wouldn't want to be losing points on certain games.
Yeah, I said it when I joined. That is the most important thing in the type of league we have. It's an unusual PSL log that we have, and the only way you can get yourself out of it is to win consecutive games. And it's exactly the same if you don't pick up points in consecutive games, because it's so compressed. You can, like we said, we were 3 points off number 6. That's how it is. So winning consecutive games is the most important thing, but of course you first have to win the first one. But consistent performances, like I said in the beginning of this press conference, consistent performances will give you points, and that's all we have to focus on. Not looking at log, not looking at the position, not playing with this emotional trauma. No, face the next game. There's 3 points to play for, and go all out to get that points.
Final question.
Yeah, Coach, today we attended a significant appointment of a new head of referees, someone that from your time as a player till you got into the coaching space, Victor Gomes, as the national chair of referees committee. What do you make of that committee? And as a stakeholder in the game, what would you hope, knowing how he's been on the pitch, he can do in that space?
I always admire professional that goes to the highest possible level, and him refereeing at the World Cup, he went to the highest level possible. There are coaches that are in every press conference, in every post-match, are talking about referees. We hope he's the first step of getting VAR to the country, because I think that's what we need. We need VAR here to be able to again be one of the top leagues in the world, and at the moment that's what we are lacking. So let's hope his appointment pushes us in the first step of acquiring the VAR system, because that will definitely improve the refereeing. That will improve the decisions percentage being correct. So let's hope that can be the first step of VAR coming to us.
Thanks, Coach Fadlu. On that note, we've reached the conclusion of our press conference with Maritzburg United. We'll be back shortly with our cards. Thank you.